Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of my Midnight Vlog. As many of you know, I'm going to be off the whole week, so there's probably going to be a shitload of vlogs. I'm thinking maybe at least one a night, and I was thinking maybe I'd do some during the day, either as a replacement to the ones at night or, as addition to the ones at night. We'll see. Um, the problem is, if I'm not working, I don't have a lot to talk about. Although, honestly, I don't talk much about work. So catching up, I had a little problem last week with my breathing. So, um, the ER pretty much agreed with me on the fact that it's directly linked to my blood pressure. And since I'm not on blood pressure medicine, I, it tends to complicate this whole, uh, what they want to call it congestive heart failure, but it's not really heart failure. It's not like I have a horrible pain in my chest and I drop over with a heart attack. I mean, it's just that I can't catch my breath, or I'll take breaths and it doesn't feel like oxygen is getting into my blood. So, but anyway, so they gave me a 30-day supply of hydrochlorothiazide, which isn't going to do too awful much, but it's enough to keep the breathing problems at bay. But somehow in there I've got to get hooked up with another doctor, and I just know he's going to ask me to get blood tests and all this other garbage, which is unnecessary. You never used to have to get blood tests just to get blood pressure medicine. It's stupid. The state of the healthcare in this country is ridiculous. So everybody's got to throw business to everybody else. The doctors have to throw business to the labs and to the prescription things, and then the labs refer you to other specialists, and they just keep on doing that, and then by the time you get to the end of it, nobody's found anything out, and you have to start the whole process again. And all it is a big money making machine. And I don't care what anybody says; that's what it is. Um, I don't buy into it. They tried telling me almost 10 years ago now, when I went into the emergency room, that, well, if you leave, you'll um, we need you to sign this paper saying that you're aware of the fact that you may have a heart attack and die because you didn't take our advice and stay here. Well, I'm not going to pay however much it is a night to stay in a frickin' hospital for 2 nights just so that they can take a blood test out of me every 8 hours. And this was like I said, 8, 9 years ago. So they tried to scare me into they're like, whoa, you're going to die and all this stuff. Well, guess what? I'm perfectly fine. So I have a few breathing problems, but that's to be expected with the blood pressure. All I need are blood pressure meds. So I may have to go online and buy them illegally. Come see, come saw. They don't want to give them to me, then I'll get them another way. I know the names of the medications. I have it written down, and I know how much I take and what the numbers are. So, um, it's just stupid, and people need to rebel against this kind of thing. It's just one more, stone in my craw. As my father used to say, and I hate to imitate my dad, but as my dad used to say, it's a racket. So, on to happier things. Like I said, I'm off this week, so I've still got like 9 days ahead of me. So I'm planning on thoroughly enjoying myself. And I downloaded a lot of games off from Steam last week because I had extra money. This week I'm short because I thought that our sick days were paid, and they're not. So since I took 2 sick days off last week, instead of getting a full like $350 check, I got all of 200. So, and that put a huge crimp in my vacationing plans. So, but still, like I said, I've got a lot of stuff that's already been downloaded, and I've got to get to play. I had one game, Fallout 3, that I downloaded about a month ago, if you'll recall, if you've been following me. And Fallout 3 is an awesome game. I've played it before. I beat it at least 6 times. Played it, played exclusively like, well, you can play any way you want. You can do good things and bad things, or you can kind of try and stay all on one side of the good line, or stay all on one side of the bad line. So, there's, like I said, I beat that game like 6 times. But I love it so much because when you play it, I mean, think Skyrim only instead of fantasy, make it sci-fi with some guns, and instead of the beautiful, wooded landscapes that you see in the fantasy landscapes you see in Skyrim, think a wasteland. It's still just as detailed. I mean, but all the trees are burned up and all the houses have been demolished, and well, not all of them, but a whole lot of them. And most of the wasteland is just, it's dirt, and it's those little yellow, you know, grasses that look like they're already dead. So, but it's still highly detailed, and it's still an RPG because you're going on quests for people. You're trying to find your dad. You're trying to do all these different things, and there's all these other quests that you can stumble into if you just happen to go to the right spot, talk to the right people, and it's just so intricate, so detailed, and so many things to do. I highly recommend it for anybody that hasn't played Fallout 3. It's basically a first-person shooter, and it's really an RPG disguised as a first-person shooter. So definitely one of the best games out there. It's done by the same studio that did Oblivion and Skyrim, so well worth your time. So I'll be playing that because I originally downloaded it. Boy, did I get off on a tangent. I originally downloaded it, and it went. It didn't work when I used, because when you download something from Steam, there's what's called a Steam launcher, and then that launches the actual program, and then you have to launch that. So you have to click play twice, basically. And when I clicked play on the Steam launcher, it said, "Oh, this program isn't Windows 8 compatible," blah 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 blah, and it wouldn't even load the actual program itself. The loader wouldn't do it. So I had a big problem with that, and I kind of got discouraged. And then I went out and I found a solution. I am a nerd. I'm sure all of you know that already. I don't have my glasses on because it just caused way too much glare. So, but anyway, I went and solved that problem, and then once I got that problem solved, I thought, oh great, I can play Fallout 3, yay! And then I went to boot it up, and the Steam loader worked perfectly, and it booted over to the Bethesda, which is the company that makes it, the Bethesda launcher for the actual game. And then I clicked to play it, and it just shuts right down. It just crashes. So I got really discouraged with that, and I left the game alone. I'm like, well, it was only $5. I lost $5, big deal. But today I got a bug up my ass, and I said, you know what? I'm going to track down, if there's any possible way to track down a solution for that problem, I'm going to track it down. And I did. I found it. It was a missing DLL file that apparently the game thinks that you're running an Athlon or a what is it? Not ATM. But anyway, one of two different video card processors, and I'm not. I have an Intel HD on my laptop. So it actually gave me a step-by-step instructions on Steam's help forum on how to replace that DLL file in the actual Fallout 3 file. So I did that, and guess what? It works beautifully. So now I've got Fallout 3 to play tonight if I want. And of course, I downloaded Oblivion last week, so I have that to play too, which is it's the baby brother of Skyrim. So I've got those. I just downloaded Civilization 3 for like $1.20. So I haven't even opened that game yet. So I've got all kinds of cool things, and I've got Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, which was originally only available for the Nintendo DS. I got that on my Android. So I've only played about the first, half hour of it or so. But it's pretty good. It's a top-down thing. It's not like 3 dimensions or anything, which is a little disappointing. But it plays pretty well. It controls really well for an Android game. So I've got all that to deal with. Now, let me switch over. Now I'm going to talk about movies. I've got a shitload, a crap ton of movies to watch. I discovered a website that has movies that are still playing in the theaters on it. So it's a questionable legality, but it's they're the ones that are liable, not me. So, um, the last website I had that did that got shut down about 3 months ago, and a friend of mine said, "Oh, you need to look at this website." So I went to that website, and sure enough, there's all these new movies that I want to see. They even have the brand new Hobbit. So that's something. And I got a bunch of movies on Netflix I want to watch. I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to watch, believe it or not, Total Drama, which is a cartoon that runs on, I think it's Cartoon Network. And it's got 5 seasons. Actually, I think it's on its 6th season, but there's 5 seasons on Netflix. And I'd already seen parts of the first 2, so I started on the 3rd season. Just finished that up. It was 23 episodes. That took me a long time to get through. Sorry, I had to move my laptop a little bit. It was kind of sliding. Anyway, and I'm also trying to watch House of Cards, which is a Netflix original series, because the 3rd season of that is going to come out on Netflix. I think it's next month, and so I wanted to actually watch the 1st and 2nd season. And I watched the 1st episode of the 1st season. It's very good, terribly well done, and I'm not really big on politics. I don't understand a lot of it. That's part of the reason, because I was never interested in it as a child. So I never studied it, never got into it, never really, thought it was awesome or anything. So I'm not really good at politics. So when there's a political drama or something on, I'm kind of like, well. The only exception to that rule was The West Wing. That was a good show. So I thought, well, I'll give House of Cards a spin because I like Kevin Spacey as an actor. And it turns out it's really well done and it's highly understandable. It's more drama than, how do I put it? It's more drama than political. So, but there is a very strong political element to it. Pardon me for a moment. I have to put my foot down so everything's going to shift. There. Anyway, so I got that to watch, and of course all those movies on the one website, and got a bunch of movies on Netflix I want to see too. So I have shit tons of things to do this week, and all the time in the world to do it. So I'm gonna pay more attention to my cats and play with my cats and do all kinds of vlogs and just generally experiment around with stuff. I want to see if I can record stuff on my Android and then send it to wherever I have to send it to online, and then pick it up from there and put it into my movie maker, which is what I'm recording on now, and edit that into my regular stuff like I'm doing now. So, in other words, take Android footage and cut it into my laptop footage. So it'd be good practice for me. I don't know if Windows Movie Maker makes that fairly easy or if it's very difficult to do, but it'll give me something to tinker around with. So, the white cat is still doing fine. For those of you that are looking to find out what's going on with him, I saw him yesterday. He came up and, I sat down and he came over and climbed up on my lap and wanted to be petted and loved, and he meowed at me a lot. And if you want to hear what his meow sounds like, it sounds almost exactly like the meow in Simon's Cat, which is a series of cartoons on YouTube. If you haven't seen them, they're very funny. There's no color to them. They're all black and white. But they're hilarious. Look up Simon's Cat on YouTube. It's spelled exactly the way it sounds. Anyway, so he's doing fine. I haven't been over to see if Little Bum is around lately. I was over there 2 or 3 days ago, and there's no cats around whatsoever. The gray cat's not there. The little black kitten's not there, and Little Bum isn't there either. I don't think she's ever coming back, or, if she's inside that lady's house, maybe, good for her if she is, because maybe she found a home. Anyway, that's all the news that's fit to print, or all the news that fits, I guess. I kind of got, split my infinitives on that one, but I got to save a little bit for the rest of the week because I got to have stuff to talk about. You know what I mean? All right. Well, I hope you're all well. If you're new to the vlog, you know, like, follow, you know, do all that happy YouTube stuff because that's where this is. So, I hope you're all well. I'll probably talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night and enjoy your weekend. Peace!